publications, both in the print, electronic, and social media, bordering on allegation of funds of the board, which was invested in Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited. It is being currently investigated by the EFCC, and from the reports that we had, that about $14,859,257 went into some hands. And as a committee, we cannot hear of such a thing and not want to hear from the board in question. Unfortunately, they are not here, but I think they sent a letter dated 19th, which was yesterday. And I want to read the letter to the committee. They said, re-invitation to appear before the Senate Committee on Local Content in respect of EFCC allegation of funds invested in Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited. We refer to your letter with reference number NAS S/10/CLC/CORR/03/16 dated 14 November 2025 on the above subject matter, inviting the board to appear before the committee in respect of EFCC allegations of funds invested in Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited. We commend the effort of the Senate Committee on Local Content in promoting and advancing objectives of the board. However, the Executive Secretary is away on medical leave and is unable to make the appearance. In addition, we require some time to compile the documents required to adequately respond to the committee's requests. Based on the above, we kindly appeal that the committee consider rescheduling the appearance to a later date after the practical Nigerian Content Forum in Yanagua. We sincerely apologize for any inconveniences this may cause and thank the committee for its understanding and continued support. Please accept the assurances of my highest regard for your esteemed office. Yours faithfully, NCDNB, signed Engineer Felix Omoshola Ugbe. Well, I think somebody signed for you. Somebody signed for you. Executive Secretary. Somebody signed for him because they speak it here. So this is the letter we got, and that is why I presume that they are not here today. We will discuss this, the way forward. Anybody can make comment on the way forward. Then we can close that. But let me give you a brief overview of what the board is doing and intends to do in the coming days. The Committee on Local Content, like we've said several times, covers almost everything that requires that people patronize Nigerians for everything. It starts from the Executive Order 5, which was under the last president. Then we have the Nigerian First Policy by this president and the NCDMB Act. The NCDMB Act, the Nodit Act, covers the oil and gas. The Executive Order covers almost every area before the Nigerian First Policy. So these combined areas, combined provisions of the law, makes it imperative that we cannot just sit down and say it's only NCDMB. So over the last few months and weeks and months, we have moved decisively from paper enforcement, transiting from theoretical compliance to practical, measurable implementation of the Nigerian local content laws across the country. We are also trying to look at areas where companies have violated the Local Content Act. Most, if not all, most of the IOCs have defaulted in the remittance of the 1%. It's an area we are also looking at. Most of the IOCs, there is a provision in the law that provides for the HUD fund, which is the Human Capital Development Fund, provided in the law for the IOCs, for the training of capacity for our locals. We want also verify how far they have used that fund within their system, because the law provided make provision for that fund to create capacity for Nigerians to participate in the oil and gas sector, especially in the Nigeria. We'll also look at how they have used those funds. How many Nigerians have benefited from that process? Have we built capacity enough for those areas? We cannot, as a committee, at this point in time, say that all is well when the jobs that are meant for Nigerians are being taken by others. We've been in this oil and gas exploration for over 65 years. And over 65 years, we have not still built capacity in that area. Then I wonder when we are going to build capacity with all the provisions of laws that we have right now. So we've written to almost all the IOCs to provide information relating to how far they have complied with the law. We have also written to NCDMB to provide us their own part of the information, which we already have. In the coming days, we are going to be inviting the IOCs seated like this with NCDMB to give us a brief about how and why they have not complied with the law. Those ones are already ongoing. But today, the only reason why we are here is because of what is in the public domain, who are the owners of the Atlantic National Refinery, the funding process, and this may also lead to we asking for all the fundings that they have done for all the refinery or petrochemical, or whatever they've done anywhere in the country, they have to provide those information. So I will rest here to allow others to comment. Then we'll take a decision on when we think that we should write them to appear to give us the needed information. Thank you.
Chairman. Committee, the intention of the National Assembly enacting a bill that becomes an act on the local content is, of course, to bring in local Nigerian players into the playing field of oil and gas. And you've been made chairman the last 7-8 months, and I think you have done so well this far. Fundamentally, this sector has not actually gotten the attention that requires to make them functional in almost a total aspect. You know, when the news of this money came about, some of us were taken aback as to the possibility of this thing happening within the local content industry, and that the fact that the ICPC or EFCC is investigating that does not in any way hinder the National Assembly and, of course, the Local Content Committee in doing its job, because our job in Section 88, Section 1, 2, 3 is constitutional to do what we are doing, irrespective of whether or not ICPC, EFCC, police are doing it. Secondly, I would like to say the reply of the local ministry delights me. They replied in time. For me, they have given cogent reasons as why they are not here. However, it is important to put this matter in your front burner. Lastly, sir, we need a total oversight of the local content sector of the Nigerian economy. It is requiring our legislative attention. Things are not done the way that is expected. People are not taking the National Assembly serious in its oversight, and therefore the committee leadership must find a way in making sure that promptly we take a collective oversight of the theater sector. I'm also delighted that you called the IOCs. We have gone through the records, some of the data. The 1%, a lot of these IOCs are not paying. And where these IOCs also paid the 1%, there is no tangible data at whether that is actually remitted to government. A lot of questions are arising from this local content issue. So I thank you very much. I think moving forward, the committee leadership will now decide when to write, how to write, what time to invite them. But making sure that in the next meeting, the gentleman invited must attend.
The chairman, mine is not very different from Senator Negi. One, I want to commend you for this initiative. This committee has been there for a long time, but I think it has just started functioning as a committee. And I commend your initiatives and hard work. Number two, Mr. Chairman, like Senator Negi said, we should be able to do the invitation, give the invitation to them as early as possible. But after that, I want to suggest that Mr. Chairman be different from other chairmen, because some of the chairmen in this Senate are acting as if they are the chairman at the committee. They are chairmen and committees. So committee was just the chairman and the committee, while the Senate president is not the Senate, it's only the Senate president. It's a collective responsibility. Therefore, if you carry us along, everybody, if we are too many as a committee to go on functions, make nominations, stagger. This time, ask others to go, and the next time we pick others to go. If we are too many to go on anything. But it is important to carry us along, because one day, tomorrow will come when you will need all of us. And finally, I would like to request for information on everything, like excuse me, like Mr. Chairman, I'm on my good place. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a request too, that this reply, we have the letter sent to them. I think I would like you to afford us a copy of the reply each, so that we can study both, and then they come, we know how to approach, we know how to contribute, we know how to support you as our leaders in the committee. It's very important we have copies now. Thank you.
Thank you, our chairman and distinguished condolers, which EFCC has alleged to have been diverted by some people. I will start by, first of all, commending you for being proactive. You picked this information from the media and on the televisions, and you decided to invite the executive secretary. You wrote him on the 14th of November. That was last week. And it is not just because the media published it. The board ought to be aware of this problem. It's been existing, this diversion, for EFCC to investigate it and go into it and to the point of declaring somebody wanted.
it means that it's been a festering problem, this $14.8 million. In as much as some of my colleagues have said that the Executive Secretary gave a cogent reason for non-appearance today, I believe that this is a matter that he ought to have taken very seriously. Allegation of diversion of $14.8 million should worry the board and the Executive Secretary. So in his absence, I had thought that he would have been able to send somebody to you, to this committee, with a preliminary information on the matter, pending when he will be available to appear. I don't take it as sufficient for him to write that he's not available for whatever reason. Otherwise, this committee may be taken for granted. If you didn't write him to appear, he may have glossed over it. But you took it upon yourself. You ought to have reported this matter to you as the chairman of this committee. But because of your nature and because you are somebody who is a forensic accountant, you had to draw his attention to it. He didn't bring it to you. So I would suggest that if it's possible, you communicate to him that this is letter. He is not responding to the matter before us, diligently. So that next invitation, he'll be able to bring everything surrounding this Atlantic refinery, for which money has been paid, and EFCC was able to scoop it and came to a conclusion that the money was diverted. It's public funds. We have to be very serious about it. So that by the next time you are giving him to come here, you should send documents. And next time, when you invite him to appear before this committee, you should know that for serious matters of diversion of public funds, it will come first in his consideration. This is my submission. Thank you.
Chairman, sir, wanted to stress on the issue of letter written to us, sir. That's why I was even asking you, letter is signed by who? Is it his immediate person, or is it just a signature for him? I feel that when you write, you wrote, and you sign, I don't know whether it's a delegation that wrote the letter. I don't know whether the letter was just mailed to you, and I don't know when the letter was written, because if for all of us to appear here only to be told that he has written a letter, I feel he might not be mindful about the people that are inviting him. You wrote a letter, you signed a letter, somebody's putting a signature for him, the person is bringing the letter on what date, I don't know, and the person will allow us all sit here to tender a letter of apology. As far as I'm concerned, I believe that he wants to test our capacity. And therefore, in the process of replying, I don't expect just a reply to him. It must be a very strong letter asking him for when to appear before us. Thank you, sir.
Of the Executive Secretary has been adequately addressed, but I would like to, there are certain things that came out at me when I was reading your letter to him, and I would like us to be aware of it when he comes. I want to know how the Minister of State was able to convert the money. How was the money disbursed in a manner that he's able to have access to it? As far as I can see, the money was for certain companies. Is he on the board? How? I want to know the technicalities and the modalities of the ease with which such an amount of money can be converted. So I think that those are some of the things you need to note to him, that he needs to explain to us how disbursements are made. Because if this can happen so easily this time, how do we know what other things can take place in other companies, other not other agencies, but this particular local content? When he says they're buying a boat, Who does the money go to? How is the boat bought? Their mode of disbursement, I want to know. So that's what I'm concerned about. That they're companies. Companies have certain structures. They are regulated by certain laws. So how does the minister get access to the funds that were meant for the companies?
That matter, as you all know, is under investigation. I don't know why we are now the committee is now trying to look at it when so much water appears to have gone under the bridge. But that does not mean that this committee does not have the power to do so and investigate anything. But I would have preferred, Mr. Chairman and my distinguished colleagues, if we were making an inquiry to the totality of the operations. If there's a fund for capacity building, if there's a fund to support local industrialization, you look at the totality of the management of that fund, not one transaction. Now, if the subject matter of this meeting is about that one transaction, in view of the fact that the person alleged to be involved, even though it's of another political tendency, with me, against me, we've been like this for all these years. We don't even talk. But by my standards, as a leader from the state, I will recuse myself. I will recuse myself. One, so that other agencies who are handling those things can do it, and whatever this committee may want to do in aid or in support or in addition, committee can do so. But my preferred approach would have been an inquiry as to the totality of what is going on. Everything. But what is going on? But like I said, I've not seen the copy of the invitation. We have powers to do whatever we want to, but if we are looking at, but like I said, if it is only on this transaction, then I will, with all due respect, recuse myself, not only on this one, but at any other subsequent meeting, if the subject matter is this particular one transaction. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Distinguished Senator Dickson, for his comments, especially the point at which he said, because the matter concerns somebody who is from the state to recuse himself, the committee will be happy to accept that your decision. But I want to state here categorically that it is not out of place for this committee to hear something that's happening in a board that is being oversighted and cannot ask for that specific information. There are other issues that we are doing, but this one is in the front burner, and I cannot, as a chairman, sit here and not being able to say exactly what is the facts behind that matter. So if you are recusing yourself, this committee, on behalf of my colleagues, will gladly give you that privilege so that you don't compromise your standard. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman and distinguished colleagues. The comment I want to make is to say that wrong has been done. I think the steps that we have taken, we have written a letter. He has not come, but he has sent in a reply. I think part of the things we should do, or the Secretariat would do, is to find out. Our letter was dated 14th November last week. When did he leave for the medical attention? so that we shouldn't jump and think that he is evading appearance. Let's establish that fact before we accuse. So that is the point I want to make. Thank you, Chairman.
If there's any lawyer that is here, that's what they call Nemo, Judas, and Kanzaswa, and the authoring party. These are two basic elements of natural justice. We are not trying to condemn, or nobody is trying to condemn the ES. We have invited him. He could not make it. It's part of human endeavors. Let us assume that something came up. Joining my other colleagues, I'm also putting my voice or lending my voice to say, let us give him another opportunity to come. You understand? So that we can hear from him holistically, because this issue is very weighty, very weighty. I believe as a parliament, as a committee, that does not stop EFCC or ICPs from doing their job. We have to make inquiry into this matter. At the same time, we have to look into many other issues that affect that local content, because Nigerians are the receiving ends, just like what my chairman said, Senator Joel, that the IOCs are not keeping to the rules, the core values or core stand or vision statement of why this thing was created, why they were enacted, that board at the first place. So that we have to look at it holistically without caring whose us is God. But as a parliament, we have to do our own. Cannot say because EFCC or ICBC is looking to the matter, we're not going to shy away. Thank you and God bless you. But I'm more that we should give the man another opportunity to come. Thank you and God bless you.
The Executive Secretary of NCDMB. I know that the approach of most of these agencies is to ignore us and be evasive. If this is the first time, then we should give them another chance. But come up with a resolution that will be communicated in the direct words of that resolution. That's my take. Thank you.
It's something that we need to do. We also agree that we are just trying to find out, have a knowledge of what happened. We are not saying whether there's anything that has happened there that is criminal or suspicious or whatever. I just have an idea of what has happened in that place to keep the committee abreast. We also agree that, like other colleagues have just said, since this is the first time, we can give him another opportunity to appear. We have also agreed on that. So, in terms of resolution, distinguished Senator Jaribe, you might come up with a motion, then we will adopt that resolution, then move away from this subject matter, then Secretary will take it up and write accordingly based on the resolution for that. So I yield the floor.
That the committee resolves, 1, to reinvite the Executive Secretary of NCDMB within a period of 2 weeks, and 2, that the NCDMB avails this committee with 30 copies of all the information required. I so move. 1 week before an amendment. You have to move